Man, what is up with y'all niggas, man? I'm Monheezy, and I'm back with another banger video. Today, I got a brazy story for you. If you clicked onto this and you're not too fried, you probably realized the gist. This is a story from sophomore year of high school for me, or 2019. But before that, I'm gonna let everybody pause and take a moment of pregame because we are in for the long run with this one. Maybe stay on one while watching two. That's all up to you though, you know what I mean? All right, you're back. Before we start, take a moment to guess how this story ends in the comment section. Drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Share this with your friends too. So let me give you the lowdown. It was a day like any other day, and my day started just like it usually does. I got up, brushed my teeth, threw on some new clothes, and made myself some breakfast, you know? And let me tell you, like, before school, like, those 6 a.m. eggs were immaculate. You know, like, I looked out the window when I was eating them, and I just stared at the dew on the grass, and I knew I was gonna get fucked up. I just knew it. You know, it's just something that, like, when you're into that type of thing, you just know. So I decided to find my Vyvanse, right? I had a script at that time, and I popped 3 of them to get the day started. And if you've taken Vyvanse before, you know it takes about like 30 minutes for them to start to hit. So I took a shower and prepared for it. And while I was doing that shit, I was thinking about ways to get cooked, like any other person would. You know what I mean? It's like, it was just like basic shit. Like, it was like, could I do dabs? Maybe someone has green? You know, endless possibilities. Some interstellar type shit was going through my brain. But I got out of the shower, toweled off, and said, fuck it. I'll text some people. And I did. I hit up my homie Lucas and I said, yo, I got nothing to do after school, nigga. How about you? And he said, Monheezy, boy, do I got something for us to do. We'll figure it out later. By that time, I knew it. Our link, it was set in stone, and it was about 6 minutes till the bus was coming for me. So I started heading out from my bus stop because it takes me about 5 minutes to get there, right? And by the time I got there, I was fucking geeking, okay? Like, not that much, but like a little bit, right? I hopped on the bus, you know, I had my backpack and just a little bit of money to throw, and I was chilling. Right? The ride didn't take that long because I lived close to my high school, but when we got there, I was already geeking, you know? And at that point, when I walked into my small 1,000-person high school, it felt like one of those scenes from a movie when the main character walks into like a booming metropolis that was taking place without them even knowing. Like some Diagon Alley type shit, you know? Like when you walk into the front of that high school, there's a hallway straight down the center, you know, a cafeteria behind glass windows on the right, and the school administration office on the left. If you go down it and take a left down a hall and a right to another right there at that corner before the turn, I was there chilling with some of my homies playing fucking Clash Royale before class. So class starts, and I think it was algebra. I just remember sitting down at my desk, looking around and being like, damn, this is an exquisite day. The sun was shining through the windows, which were slightly closed with those blinds there built into the glass, but there was a huge problem at that moment. You know, I was sweating hella. And like, I don't know if this was a common thing, but I was sweating from my nose, like a lot. And to be quite honest, I did not give a fuck what was going on in that classroom, bro. I was all over, like at the back, sitting over my phone on my lap, just watching One Piece in the arc where Ace dies. She was devastating low key, bro. Ace was a real nigga, but back to the story. Eventually, I got to study hall, and the room I was in was this small elevated place where there was rows of seats at different heights, right? So there was the tallest row at the back. And down on the presentation area at the bottom, there's a teacher watching all of us. My boy Tim and I had the same study hall, but we didn't know we'd be seeing each other again later. That whole period, I swear I was just at the back of the room, leaned up against the wall, cooking some fire beats on my little Lenovo laptop, bro. Like I don't even know why I was just cooking on a Lenovo laptop, but I mean, it worked. I got shit done on that. But back then I was caught up being hella inspired by like Pierre Bourne style of beats, you know, and that was around 2019 or late 2018, you know? Nah, just 2019, yeah. So he was really going off during then, and his work with Cardi before that shit was S tier. But yeah, I was there absolutely cooking, and I got out my portable battery and a wire and started taking massive rips off the Barticus, and nobody gave a fuck. It was wild. Tim saw me hitting it, and hella people back there knew. It wasn't like I was blowing the cloud everywhere. I was zeroing that hoe and getting schmeeked. But mid-class, I got a text from my boy Lucas, and we were talking for a sec, sending each other songs and shit, and eventually he says, "Want to come back with me to my house and get schmeeked?" And I was hands down in because, like I said, I was looking to get fucked up, which you shouldn't, because my actions should not be repeated. But we texted and stuff, and after that class, I was waiting to get out of that class like I was in an institution, and somebody told me it was my last day in that bitch, bro. And we got to health class, and me and Lucas both got seats next to each other and just started scheming. We had plans for a bong, maybe some other stuff, but it was in the works. After that, me and Lucas both got on the bus, which we used like a free ride a fuck ton. And guess what? Tim and his brother Jaden are on the bus too. And before you knew it, I dapped them up, talked a bit, and we had a full squad going to the trailer park. All committed to getting schmeeked too. So we ride the bus to Lucas's stop and get off of it and go on to this white trailer. And inside, Lucas has this blue bong sitting on the dinner table. And we were all like, oh shit, we know what we're doing. And we looked at Lucas and we were like, do you have bud? And don't worry, I matched my boy with the cart for my rips later, but he goes on and shows me to his bathroom, bro. And in this cupboard beneath the sink is just some of the dankest weed I've smelled. And he said it was Ghost Rider OG. It was this sticky bud with a huge white coat of trichomes. And he said, "Want to smoke this shit?" And I said, "Nigga, of course." So we walked that bud back to the table and crumbled some up for bong hits. And I kid you not, I made it through 5 bong rips, and it was absolutely on the moon type shit. Some total space op shit. And by that time, our other homie, Alex, hits us up and wanted to link. And we were like, for sure. Just pull up, and he actually got a ride, and Alex, what a guy, took some fat tokes. I'm still friends with him to this day, so you'll hear some more stories where he is mentioned. But we all got our share on that bong, and we were schmeeked. But our fried brains had even more plans while we were sitting on that huge couch right next to the table, with a TV in front of it mounted to the wall, bro, I kid you not. And we had Shoreline Mafia playing, bro. It was bottle service. And I still remember to this day our next choice. We got Lucas's mom to take us on a mission. Lucas asked her for us, and she said, yes, bro. We all hopped in her car and headed for some teenage grails, bro. Nicotine and 4 Locos. First, she got us some Eon sticks, which are like, they used to be bigger back during like 2019, but like now, not so much. You don't really hear anybody ripping like disposable Eon sticks. Yeah, no. But I mean, they were back then. So yeah, back to the story. Yeah, she got some Eon sticks. And then like, we gave her the money too. So, it wasn't like she was just doing that out of like, like her own pockets. But yeah, but we swerved on down to a store that had what else we were looking for, But that shit was really about to become like what's now recognized as like one of my mortal banes, bro. 4 Locos. We picked those hoes up too, And like, before you know, we were back at the trailer in the fucking TP, absolutely chugging these 4 Locos, which was a terrible idea because 20 minutes later, I got hit by a truck, is what it felt like. And I was crossfaded, just put out on the couch. And even worse, the high from the Ghost Rider OG was getting a little bit drowned out by the drunkenness, which blew ass because that bud was something different. I'd cherish it if I'd had some now. But honestly, here's where things got dire. So while I was laid out on the couch, I got this hot feeling in my gut, bro. I just knew something was wrong. And I looked down, and I see Tim trying to reach in my pocket and seize my jewel. And I just got up off instinct and Hulk shoved him out the way. And then he knew I was awake again. Then he knew. Tim's a solid guy though. That's just some drunk antics niggas got up to, That's just shit. But whatever. You know, before I could sit down, I went right over to the door and I went to this trash can. It was this gray trash can, and I puked so hard outside the house. Then, fucking Tim filmed that shit, and we both laughed our asses off watching it later. And by the time we were able to laugh at it, even, you know what I mean? We were all getting rides home and shit. And that's just how the night ended. A solid time with my niggas, but damn, don't drink hella Four Locos. Just two of those things had me fucking plastered on top of the Vyvanse tabs and fucking Bud. In fact, just don't repeat what I did. Alright, Space Ops. Follow me on my other socials. I post every Sunday. Deuces.